And here we are. Whoop, whoop. Raise the roof and all that chisel. My goodness. Welcome back to Star Trek Livingstone, your fortnightly Star Trek adventures from Modiphius role-playing game. And we are joined by the usual crowd. We have Commander, Acting Captain, Eelin, Wraal, Ed with us. How you doing, Ed?
Hello, Stu. Hi, everybody. Hello, crew. Oh, good. Good. Oh, it's good to be back in the spots and back in the chair. No, it's not.
Yes. In the spotlight, you might say.
Oh.
Anyway, moving on. We have a freshly minted executive officer, a newly promoted twice, not once, but twice.
She's that good. Well, he's that good. Sorry.
Lieutenant.
Get it right.
Well, she's that good at playing him.
Amy is also that good to get promoted twice.
Indeed, we have Amy. Matt as Bosh, slurping away on your beer. Share your beer with everyone.
I would. I mean, it's trying special. Desperately to share with everybody.
Did you bring it up for the whole class?
It's a errant brewery out of Newcastle, actually, called Roll 20 for me.
There you go. Out of Newcastle, so one for you there, Captain Quinn. Thank you for joining us. If
you can share it with them and they want to give us free beer, that would be very, very helpful.
Yes, we will take sponsorship deals for drinks.
Yes.
Oh, yes, absolutely. We'll take a packet of peanuts, in fact. Yeah, and we have an extra screen today because we have a new player joining us. Now, this is a mystery guest, so I'm not going to get them to introduce themselves just yet. That will come later. But as I've put in the text, it's a mystery person. Who are they? What role are they going to play? Feel free to speculate in the chat.
I can't wait to find out.
Oh, I know. I would say me too, but I know. So that's the massive thing is new player. So exciting.
Just thought you were calling me fat.
Calling you cat?
Fat. You were saying a massive thing. It was like I just figured you were calling me fat.
Oh, I'm the last person to call anyone fat.
That's not true.
Trust me. Well, yeah, all right. So we all excited?
Very.
Yes.
We're through the wormhole.
Possibly. Well, we've gone through a wormhole. Where we are, nobody knows.
I chose my words very carefully there.
I do know one thing, which was the thing that I wrote down on a new bit of paper so I wouldn't miss it before we started this one. And we have to check Sonia's shady shit.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
I can't remember what.
It's gone well shady. Someone's put something in her hot chocolate.
Yeah. She would have been dealt with had you let first have her way.
She'd have been part of the decor of engineering, hint of innards.
Sonia's been a core member of our team for a long time, so she deserves the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
Sorry, so do you say a core member or a poor member?
Oh, she done all them engineering checks for us and did really well.
In the core.
In the core.
In the core.
Oh, where I am, where I always am.
Oh, blimey. Yeah.
If Davok wants to transfer to engineering division, we can arrange.
I'm just as good at engineering.
That's it. Yeah. There you go. Just get yourself a yellow T-shirt rather than a blue one, and we're sorted.
Yeah, I've got a red one.
Don't be eyeing up my seat.
Well, yeah, because you're now executive officer, of course. So, first officer, how does that feel? I'll ask Amy first of all before Davok.
Yeah, Amy balks at the responsibility of having such a responsible role.
I absolutely love being acting captain and immediately divvying up the second in command role to everyone who doesn't want it.
But how does Davok feel?
It's logical, isn't it? I mean, I am the best. No, I think, yeah, he's happy about it. Well, happy is a strong word. He'll do it.
It's
he'll do it
logical,
well.
is it?
Yeah.
I'm sure he will. I'm sure he'd be very good at taking advice from the other officers, at least.
Yes.
If I can predict anything.
There's no I in team.
What about Bosh though? Because Bosh outranked Davok before this happened by 2 levels. It has to be said.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, surely CMO would have been the right person to have brought in as your first officer. Think of all the profit opportunities that have been lost.
Yes. Well, yes and no. There's a lot of profit in not being looked to for advice, control, and there's definitely things to be said to having extra communication that doesn't have to go through official channels, and an executive officer does feel a little bit constraining, shall we say.
Right. So Bosh isn't too unhappy then.
Yeah, if Davok makes commander before him, he might be a little bit more upset.
Well, we won't
I'm not
tell
competitive.
Wraal that. Is that Davok who's not competitive? Because Amy, I think...
Amy's super competitive.
There's a conflict of wills there.
Actually, it's fair. Bosh is more competitive than I am. I'm quite happy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, as long as we're all happy. So, shall we pick up direct from where we left off?
Yes.
So exciting. So, yes, you have emerged from the wormhole. There's a large circular space station that might look familiar to some of you, perhaps, nearby, and a large black ship with a saucer section, a secondary engineering hull, and 2 nacelles in a fairly generic Starfleet Federation-esque configuration, has just decloaked in front of you. I'm going to throw it out there straight away. What would you like to do?
Can we check its signature?
Yeah, Mr. Davok, sensors, I think. Sensors. Sensors, please. But let's just at the same time... No, yes, carry on. Sensors, please.
Momentum and threat level?
Oh, yes. Let's do that. We are starting a new session, so you have no momentum. However, because I get 2 threat per player, my threat has increased. I've just realised I didn't.
There's currently only 3 players.
Included myself.
Yeah.
The mystery person doesn't seem to be playing right now, so you don't get any threat.
Maybe we never meet them.
Yeah.
Do you know what? That's fair. I'm going to put 2 of my threat back.
Oh, excellent. Excellent. Well, in that case, because as you know, I register, or I keep a track of our threat momentum on the control panel here with a D6 that's green for our momentum, because we can only have 6 maxed out, and with a variety of red dice for Stu. So I'm going to put away the 20 for the moment and just downgrade it to a 12.
I thought you were going to say
Right.
Ed doesn't identify as a player, so therefore you don't get any threat for him either.
Well, I am on 6 momentum for. I'm on 6 threat for what it's worth.
Okay.
Excellent. So you want to use the sensors. Sensors. So now I'm assuming you're doing a general sensor sweep of the other vessel.
Yeah.
All right.
makes
Or
sense.
do you specifically want to scan for weaknesses?
Oh, That might be a little bit aggressive because you might notice that you're probing the weaknesses. So let's just do a sort of greeting scan. What's this? Greeting scan.
Digital wave.
This is not the ship you're looking for.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're not sat in front of you with our shields down.
A sensor sweep would normally be a difficulty 0 reason and science assisted by the ship's sensors and science. However, I am instantly going to burn a shitload of threat, 4 for the record, to make it a difficulty 3.
You're going to say, but actually, it's a difficulty too high because actually you're still in that station.
What station?
Suddenly it's a Klingon ship. No, it's a square ship. Now it's a round ship.
It's always been a round ship.
Always been a square ship.
That's it.
Ever since it was a triangle.
So it's reason and science from Davok, assisted by the ship's sensors and science.
Okay, I need 14 and under. Well, I rolled a 2, and bear with me.
Ooh.
And it's 17.
Ooh. So you've got 1 success.
Yeah.
Sensors is 9, science is 2, so 11 on the ship. Whoever is rolling that.
I'll have a go for that. 11 or less. It's an 11.
Oh.
It is an 11, so 2. Do you have a focus that might apply for sensors?
Astrophysics, no. Computers, no. But I could give you a threat or 2.
You could give them a threat for an extra dice.
Yeah.
Well, the succeeding at cost is actually my decision. Either something happens that of my choosing, or I can just sort of bank it for later by using threat. I am simply going to say, however, that it does not succeed. Your scans are reflected back on yourself. This appears to be some kind of high-tech stealth vessel.
Yeah, probably, especially if it's just decloaked in front of us. Okay.
One that is hailing you currently.
Yes, I was about to open them myself, but on screen.
Okay, and the screen pops up, and you see the familiar face of Liera, who is in civilian clothing, unusually.
That is very unusual. Captain Liera. Hello.
Hey, Wraal. Welcome back. Now is not the time for us to be talking. We've created a bit of a diversion over at DS9, so they are unaware of what is going on. Don't worry. Sit back. Enjoy the ride. We'll take things from here, and we'll talk again in a couple of hours. I'll just need a couple of people back, and she nods to someone off screen, and behind her on it's a bridge that features the color black quite heavily, with some lots of blue lighting. 2 people materialize from a transporter behind her, and you see Sonia Gomez and Eric Stallman. She says, listen, don't worry. Put your feet up. You might want to clear the bridge of anyone except those you most trust. You might definitely want to leave your new passenger behind. Maybe sedated. I'll leave that up to you, though. We'll talk soon, and the screen shuts off.
Very good. Right. So she doesn't want first anywhere near this for starters then.
Good decision.
Okay. In that case, who do we have on the bridge at the moment? Obviously, I'm in the chair. Grace Wilson Aridosian is in the con position.
Yes.
Davok is at Science Station. Bosh, are you somewhere around the back here?
Yeah, I'm on that chair behind you.
Multifunction terminals. Very good. And do we have any of our other crew around? Actually, that's all we need. So actually, aside from those, all non-essential personnel please clear the bridge.
I think Reggie might have been there.
Yeah, I
Reggie's
think
knocking about, isn't? Yeah.
Reggie and
stay here.
and first,
Ah, wait,
maybe.
no. Hang on, no. Reggie is dealing with
Reggie's
that
guarding the
strange room.
yeah. First is the only
That's
extra
right.
one, but
So we're having this conversation in front of us. Oh no.
It's fine because you could just look around and you'd know the answer. You wouldn't need to.
First, he's going to be standing there like a very tall, imposing statue. Just
She's so still, just Mister.
That's
Right.
exactly how first is looking.
I'm getting
Every station, every panel on the bridge goes blank.
one sec. Are you kicking first off?
I did not do that.
Actually, I'll just ask nicely. First, can you just wait outside the bridge, please? Just outside the door, though. Don't go far.
Of course. Interesting that the engineer has been taken. And she leaves at that and leaves.
That was a massive "I told you so," wasn't it? From first?
As I say, every console panel has gone blank. The lights of the bridge dim, and you've not seen this one before. A blue lighting comes on, and you feel the ship moving away at warp.
We've been taken under tow. Okay. Do I have any access to any of the computer systems at the moment to confirm that?
Actually, this isn't going to be an easy one, but you can give me an insight and either con or engineering. Everyone can do this.
Oh, okay.
Let's just see what you get. I'm not going to give it a difficulty score.
We discussed
say.
this. Oh, I got I've got 14, and I got 11 and a Starfleet symbol.
Oh,
Ooh,
no, it's a critical success.
three
right?
successes there.
Sorry, what an engineering?
Insight.
Yeah.
I scored
Oh, you
an
can
8
use
and a
con.
10. I scored an 8 and a 10 for a target of 12.
Ooh.
I got a
Okay, so
Okay.
2
Well-
successes from Ed.
12 and an 18 for a targeted 11.
Okay, Bosh. Yeah, you might be under tow. Who knows? Wraal doesn't feel like, but you've been towed many times. You've towed vehicles many. Yeah, sorry, bad phrasing. You have towed other vehicles many times. This doesn't feel like it. Davok, maybe it's your Vulcan hearing or sensors, but you can feel the thrum of a warp engine.
It's a warp engine. What? Amy doesn't understand.
Oh, the Livingstone is not being towed. It is under its own.
It's
power,
under its
but
own
it is
power,
at
yeah.
warp.
Okay.
The warp engines are on. Okay, can I get any access to get a schematic up of our warp bubble and engines just to confirm that? And see basically where the control's coming from.
I would love to say that there's a role for it, but I'm going to say no. 'Cause
No.
every console is
Just nothing coming up.
completely blank.
Even with my focus in computers, I can't fix this.
You certainly can't fix it from the bridge.
Is there actually, that's an interesting point. Mr. Davok, is there a computer core where you could access the ship's computer and see what's going on with the ship? And see if
First it's the warp core, now it's the computer core.
the computer. Look, the computer
What other
cores,
cores would you like me to look at?
computer cores hardly ever blow up.
Unless I go
Apple
in.
core.
Oh, for the cause.
Oh, now we need to turn into a.
That was a very long.
Interesting.
That was a very long time. That was a very long time ago, and it was only holographic.
There is indeed
Wraal had hair then.
a computer core, and from your recent findings, Davok, you know that there is essentially, I mean, I don't want to use the term a second core, but there is other computers, but it seems to be spread around the ship more. There's twice the computer storage and capacity than you would have expected.
Oh, that's weird.
Do you not remember when you got the download from the Mirror Universe?
Yeah.
That's when you discovered it.
Still got that.
So we think it's probably the area in engineering that was magically disappeared.
We've got a couple of hours. We can go have a look.
You suspect, unless it goes very, very... Well, actually, no, you wouldn't know from where you are. Do you want to go have a look at the computer core?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, Bosh doesn't, but yes.
Yeah. Is that what we're doing? Yes.
I'm going to go with you. If only the fact that I just spotted something on my character sheet that I can assist with that helps.
Okay.
You head out the door. There's First waiting for you.
First, stay where you are. We'll be back. Actually, no. First, come with us.
Okay.
You head down to engineering to where the computer core is located, and every panel, every console is blank.
I think it's not working.
It's all broken.
Yeah.
Is there a way? Now, is there any way we can use a tricorder to figure out, or use a tricorder to figure out whether the computers are just off, or whether we are blocked from using them?
Vulcan. Do you have your data pad with the areas that you were concerned about?
I assume I do.
Because that'll have a schematic of where we thought the extra core might be, like where the bulkheads that we could probably try and take apart.
Did I have a version of that still?
You can have, that's no problem. I mean, the main one in the main computer wasn't showing any voids, any areas under question when you last saw it. However, yeah, you can have it downloaded on a pad with the voids. That's no problem. So we've got two things going on. We've got this area behind engineering, behind the bulkhead, and someone mentioned a tricorder as well.
Actually, could I use a tricorder and see if I can ascertain if it is that we are blocked, or if it is that the computers are dead?
Okay, you certainly can. That's going to be a reason and security roll. I'll say difficulty 1. Yeah.
Okay, reason security. That's 12 is my target for that. And I got a 17, but I got a 4 as well.
Okay, so you've got your 1 success. Unless you have a focus. Oh, with a 12, it's not going to be... Focus isn't going to affect it anyway, is it?
With a 4, if my security's 3, so I wouldn't have triggered a focus with that.
That's what I figured. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You can see that the computers are working, and they're working as normal. However, every single access terminal has been remotely disconnected.
Okay.
But all the ship's computer systems are running absolutely as they should.
So it's us that's being prevented from accessing. Yeah. There's a wall up.
Yeah. That probably makes sense.
Question is, do we? This is to the player team rather than the actual crew. Do we try to break through the wall, or wait and see where it's taking us?
I think it's fine. I think it's a protective thing.
Yeah, it seems like this has been. Yeah, something's been put into the Livingstone that it can be done this, or maybe it's put into all Starfleet ships that can be overwritten like this.
I mean, is Liera? Do we have any reason to doubt Liera?
Yeah, and with remote codes, you can do stuff to other Starfleet ships. Of course, you can drop shields. In which case, raise them.
But oh no. Sorry, I was about to say something, then realised that he's up on the bridge. He's not there. It's fine.
Bosh, don't forget you've got your communicators.
What are you thinking, Bosh?
Commander Wraal.
Yes, Doctor.
Do we think, given that the captain was in civilian clothes, and they took Sonia, who we had concerns about, but also Eric, who was also in civilian clothes when we found him?
Are you suspecting the Marquis, especially when they said something about causing a distraction for the Cardassians?
The Marquis, or possibly the... Because it was Deep Space Nine, I may have come across one of their staff recently.
Really? Who's that?
It's taken me a while to remember, and now that we got back on ship, I was just double checking, and I've checked his face out. I knew I'd been to one of his lectures a few years ago. I knew I should have picked up his face sooner, but when I was being probed by those ridiculous humans, it was the Julian Bashir, who I believe was stationed, I don't know if he still is, but was stationed on Deep Space Nine.
I imagine I could bring up with a tricorder and get a brief précis of Julian Bashir if I didn't already know him.
The tricorder does not retain that much of a database. What it would normally do is access the database in the ship's computer for such information.
I bet it's not going to be able to do that at the moment.
Which it can't.
No. Okay. Oh, we're going to have to take Bosch's word for that.
As opposed to calling him a liar.
I've got a Ferengi on my crew.
Okay, and like, no, I don't want to tell you how to split, but it would occur to you, you have a tricorder in your hand, you have an area of engineering that you are unfamiliar with.
Yeah, we haven't scanned it yet.
You can if you want.
I can do a scan.
No, actually, Davok, are you better with this? Have you got some sort of tricordery focus that will help? That's not skipping rope. What happened?
Am I scanning for astrophysics?
No.
No.
Not on board a ship. Not inside a ship, no.
There's physics everywhere.
Everything
Space is everywhere. We're all in space.
Astro means star, so it's the physics of stars. Specifically, it's not even like general space.
And what are we made of?
Carbon.
That sounds better.
Carbon based. You might be, the Livingstone isn't.
Well, I don't have a focus. I would assist.
Okay, your engineering is probably better. My engineering is a mere 2.
I have 4.
Yeah.
This is not going to be an engineering role. It's going to be, again, reason and security difficulty 1.
Oh, actually, my reason security would be 12.
Same.
Same.
Would we both reason and security?
You
actually,
both
yes.
have tricorders, so you can both scan at the same time.
Actually,
Beat you to it.
that's true. But also, I have the advisor talent, which means that I can assist using reason and command and allow a reroll.
Would you give me a tricorder?
Do you deserve a tricorder?
I clearly worked out you had a traitor on board.
But you didn't handle it very well.
I think we can deal with first social education steadily and slowly. I
didn't kill her. I
Yeah,
think I handled it well.
exactly. Yeah, I think we narrowly avoided yet another death on board the ship. Another death? Yeah.
How many deaths have we had?
Well, only yours virtually. I'll hand a tricorder to first and say, assist Mr. Davok first.
Or would you like to lead the way?
Okay.
No, this is a team building exercise.
Ed, if you are using your advisor skill, you can only advise one person at a time, I believe. And I will need you to tell me who it is you're advising before they make their rolls.
No, so if I'll just give first the tricorder and first can assist Davok, so I sort of step back.
Oh, you can but they can still make their roll separately, but you can use your advisor talent.
Oh right, okay. In that case, I'll advise Davok, but we'll let first assist.
Okay. So who wants to roll first then?
I will.
Oh, she
Go
will.
for it. Reason and security. Difficulty 1.
Reason and security. So I have a reason of 7 and a security of 5.
Ooh.
So that's a 12.
Mm-hmm.
I also have a focus of adaptation to unfamiliar technology.
Ah, like a Federation tricorder.
Like a Federation tricorder.
And a Federation.
This
I like this.
Hang on, let me. It will not
Splitting
apply.
rules.
It will not apply.
It will not apply.
Okay, so for my 12...
Hang on. I'm questioning myself on this now.
Do
Do you know what? Yes, it would apply. It would apply.
But only the once, potentially. Like if I do another tricorder.
Now you know tricorder.
Yeah, you know them then.
Yeah. So yes, adapted to unfamiliar technology for a 12, and I got a 10 and a 5, and my security is 5.
Oh.
Right. So you got 3 successes then. So you
That's
get
momentum.
2 of those momentum thingies, which I've put some tokens down somewhere. I'll find them in a minute. No, I do need them. There they are. I was hiding them. So yes, you get 2 momentum, and you scan away at the bulkhead. You are picking up a device that is drawing a lot of power, and I mean a lot. And it is giving off large amounts of gravitons.
Ooh.
I'll just hand the tricorder back to Wraal. I don't quite know what these gravitons it suggests are.
Ah, okay. Well, based on the fact we found that, Davok, can you scan further look further into this with my assistance?
Yes. So I rolled a 14 and a 12, and I had to get 12. So I believe with your assistance, I can re-roll my 14.
Yeah, as far as I understand, basically if I'm assisting, what happens is that you can use my command discipline instead of the discipline which is being used. My command is 4. Is that better than?
Oh, yes, because then that gets me to 14, and then I get 2 successes.
Yeah, and you can allow it allows 1 reroll as well if you need it.
I won't run the risk.
Okay.
We still get 1 momentum though, yeah.
So you get another momentum. You're on 3 momentum.
I knew advisor was a useful talent. That's my Sergeant Wilson. Do you think that's awfully wise, sir?
Let's see. Even with 2 successes, you're not getting any additional information other than what has already been said. Davok, you are aware of that there are pieces of technology that do use, but not generally speaking on Federation ships.
This is a foreign
It's
certificate.
unusual for a Federation ship.
No, it's there. It must have been put there somewhere. Unless someone actually beamed it into a bulkhead that's got no access, there must be an access panel to it, so we can have a look and see what there is and see what it is. Can our scan show up if there's any access panels or
Nothing
Slightly
showing.
turned right.
To get access panels, you'd need the ship schematics, and you know where they are.
hey, you're in the computer, we can't get to them?
Oh yeah, because it's not a full set of schematics on the plan that we had.
There were gaps, specifically the gap that shows the big room with the big creepy bit of the technology and all the ways to get into it.
Might I suggest that, given its surreptitious location, it might be wise to not touch it in case they have laid diversions for people. The Empire was quite good at putting in diversions that disintegrated people.
Oh, charming. In that case, I will combat Reggie and say, Reggie, could you send 2 of your security team to my location, please? I'll need them to be guarding access to a certain area.
Did First go with you to that bridge?
Yes, I think First was with us when we discovered the control room.
Commander,
Yeah, are you thinking what I'm thinking?
if you're thinking, is that bridge up and running, then yes.
Yeah, yes. Shall we go and have a look at that other room? Because if everything's lit up, because when everything was working under our control, it was switched off. So when everything's not working under our control, it could be switched.
Yeah, that's logical. Let's go.
Well, we'll briefly pause until Reggie's small security detail arrives, and I'll brief them that basically no one fiddles in this room without me or Reggie saying so. It's almost like it's the same person. So there we go.
Okay. Well, this is this is Starfleet. So they turn up and they follow orders, and you head your way back to the Jeffries tube that gave access to this weird
Extra
room. This unusual room where you'd expect a deflector dish to be. And you're going right the way through and into that room, are you? Okay. You go in, it's dimly lit, there is blue lighting, and every single control panel is blank.
Now,
This does raise another question.
go ahead first.
Where is our deflector dish?
Just ahead of this room, on the nose of the ship.
Okay.
On a Defiant class, it's the pointy bit at the front, rather than like the underbelly. It's
Yeah, or just as if we expected a deflector dish to be in here, and it's not in here.
Sorry, that was my bad. Deflector control is what
Right. Sorry.
you would expect to see. That was my bad. My bad.
No worries. First is unfamiliar with it. It's fine.
You do
Well,
have a
but
deflector dish.
First
You'd know if you had.
was unfamiliar and is now deeply familiar.
Yeah, I feel like that's a legit first question. I don't know if there's anything else we could do. If everything is not working, we might just have to await our fate.
Yeah.
It's probably coming up on a couple of hours.
Cool.
Back to the bridge then.
I think back to the bridge. Right, yes, everyone, follow me, return to the bridge, and get comfy. First, if you'd wait outside on the bridge, but I'll just set the door to slightly ajar so you can hear.
Is that wise?
Well, it's only going to be 3 cracked, just so you can First can listen. I'm feeling that First is gaining my trust.
Out of character. you probably just want to have an open comm channel. I don't think those doors open a crack. I think they open or close, but that's fine.
Well, you see, you can't. You can probably scan for an open door. But they could definitely. You know, a stealth ship's definitely going to hear and figure out where there's like comm signals going around. Whereas me leaving the door slightly ajar because I've left the crisp packet down in the bottom of it.
Can't first just like lie under on the floor.
Actually, no. We'll go past the mess hall, and first we'll be issued a small Livingstone issue glass, and can stand at the door.
Yeah, use those 20th century.
That's what we're going to do. First, go to the mess hall, pick up a glass on the way back. You'll be needing it.
As Wraal instructs first to glass someone.
Oh, she will.
While you're having this discussion, the ship, well, you would notice this, Davok. Actually, you'd notice this as well, Wraal. Bosh, perhaps not. The ship drops out of warp.
You could feel that, couldn't you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, with Bosh's roll earlier, maybe not.
No.
Bosh isn't sure he's on a ship.
So tell me, who is on the bridge currently?
It will be Davok in the science station, me in the chair, our Adosian con officer Grace Wilson in her usual spot, ready to take over and pilot when things are returned to normal, and Bosh in his multifunction seat just here, and Reggie is now on working two shifts, keeping people in or out of two different additional rooms that weren't on his beat earlier today.
Already.
Already,
So
yeah. I'm working for a living today.
4 of you on the bridge. First
yes.
Outside, listening in.
First outside with a glass, listening intently for.
Okay.
I've just been having a quick memory alpha skirt to see if there's whether Cmdr had additional hearing. I don't think they did.
No, but I feel like we haven't explained to Faster how to use a glass to listen in. So you're probably just standing outside, just going, "I've got this glass."
He's standing on it like a bad stilt.
I mean, Cmdr are going to know what a glass is, and that whole thing. Everybody knows that.
Do they have ears there? I don't
Sonic
know.
resonance. Yeah, they have ear holes. Yeah. Okay. The view screen lights up, and it is Liara again, and she says, "We have arrived." Wraal, is this your most trusted crew members on the bridge right now?
Yes, Captain. We've quite literally gone through weeks of adventures together.
Right. She looks over to her side, nods, and you all get shimmering lights as you are all beamed away. And that's going to be a good place for us to take a break.
Whoa!
We will be back in 5 minutes. Don't go anywhere. That's an order.
chuck them in a pot and fill it up with acetone, and it dissolves it and creates a goo that you can then use to fill gaps, and it sets rock solid.
Ah, so it's like green stuff, only made out of the same stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
I saw a couple of videos on it and thought of you.
Thank you. Noted.
Excellent. I need to find something that'll do metal fatigue well, other than I thought about solder, but it's not really going to join it together that well.
Actually, I do need a couple more prints of that Livingstone model as well. Actually, if you could sort some of those out.
Well, how are we feeling?
Kidnapped.
Concerned.
Not in Kansas anymore.
I don't know when the last time we were in Kansas at this rate.
The only thing I've been vaguely reassured at is that the air said "Welcome back."
And half-inched Sonia.
And Eric.
And Eric, thank goodness.
And Eric.
Now I got to ask. Do you remember which one Eric is?
He's the one that got
confused
kicked out.
Eric and Derek.
He's the one that got kicked out of Starfleet for messing up.
He is for the Kobayashi Maru situation. What do you remember of the Kobayashi Maru out of interest?
I don't know. I don't know at all.
Yeah, because he was resetting he was like putting a new program in, so he was clearly technically advanced.
Yeah, he was trying to cheat the uncheatable system.
Just the people that some black-clad officers would probably be after.
Yeah. In fact, that's probably where they first had a good look at him. Kicked out of the academy, he could also be recruited by another part of Starfleet.
Mm-hmm.
And then
do you remember how you dealt with it?
I know I was dead.
We reported him, didn't we?
Yeah. We did I report him or did I keep storming?
The exact opposite.
Yeah,
you were trying to cover for him so you could deal with it yourselves.
Yes.
Interesting.
Don't do that against
incriminated all of us.
Oh, if you had that time to live over again, eh? Welcome back, everyone, to Star Trek Livingstone. Have you noticed I've changed the name? It's not Star Trek Adventures anymore. It's Star Trek Livingstone.
Yeah, why not? I mean, looking online, a lot of the people who do regular streams, that's their sort of tag is Star Trek, whatever their ship's called. So yeah, we should be that as well.
Part of the Hailing Frequencies family.
Yes,
indeed. And of course, STL is a file system for the geeky nerds out there, or is it the nerdy geeks? I get confused. Anyway,
it's for me.
Well, I'm glad
I
we
use
just didn't pick something that started with a D. So
it's the airport code for St. Louis, I think.
Yeah. Oh, you get that with the disco haters. It's STD. Yeah, hot take. Anyway, right, we're back anyway. So, feeling kidnapped, feeling nervous. Shall we just dive straight back in?
Yes.
So yes, you get the shimmery thing, and you resolve on a bridge, same bridge as you saw the era on. However, it's still very dark and black features very heavily, but it's not got the blue lighting anymore. In fact, it is better lit, much better lit. And as you materialise, you see a large view screen at the front of the bridge with the Livingstone on it, as well as a very unusual looking space station. It's a huge space station, this, going by how much it's dwarfing the Livingstone. It is a vertical, it's like a rusty brown in colour. It's got lots of what look to us as 20th century or 21st century people as like cooling fins all the way down it. It's wider at the bottom than it is at the top, and near the bottom it's got massive, what you would recognise as a communication array fins. It looks almost like it's got big wings coming out to the sides near the bottom. It's a massive, massive thing. But closer to home, Liera is on board. And there are a few officers sat around, but also stood with Liera are 2 other people. Now, players, please move over to StreamYards.
Ooh, I like doing this.
Love this bit.
Yeah.
Hit the right button here.
Yeah.
I'm afraid it's not a video this time, but I'm going to show you a picture of one of the people next to Liera, clad in black. Is this person? I'm hoping you can see that. Right. Let's bring us back to the scene. And the other person, mystery guest, will you please announce yourself and describe who else they see in this triumvirate?
Oh, hi, everyone.
It's
It's
Chris! Everyone! Yay! Welcome aboard, Chris.
Yeah.
Great to
So
have you with
you
us.
see, it is great to be here. I am so excited. So you see also standing there, standing about 5'1", 5'2", a very stocky build gentleman with a pig-like face and a large, well-kept beard, just standing with his arms behind his back. Gives you a nod as you appreciate him.
Excellent.
Tellarite.
He's a Tellarite.
And
Look that up.
Liera says, Wraal, Bosh, Davok, Grace Wilson, please meet Director Bashir of Section 31, and this is Zankir.
Zankir Bav Grodak. Gives you a nod.
Pleasure to meet you. I'm Commander Wraal, and this is the crew of the Livingstone. Captain Liera, I've kept your ship intact, indeed with extra bits on, but it seems you've acquired a ship yourself.
Oh, I know, she says, and it's not Captain Liera, it's Sub-Director Liera.
Am I to assume that I'm no longer necessarily acting then?
Well, it's always been Sub-Director Liera. You're probably wondering what's going on. Julian, would you like to fill everyone in?
Bosh is going to say that's one of the questions and looks very pointedly at Bashir.
Oh, yes. And Bashir will say first, he'll address you first of all, Bosh, and say, yes, I feel I owe you something of an apology, Commander. That was probably not the best way we could have handled things, but I'm sure you can understand that desperate times often call for desperate measures. We weren't, in fact, intending on having you as our guest at all, but I do apologise for any discomfort you may have felt at the time.
Discomfort phased, but Latinum is forever.
Director Bashir smiles broadly at this, perhaps as if thinking of another Ferengi he might have known at some point. And says, I'm sure that's something we can talk about in time. For now, though, tell me, what do you all know of Section 31?
Not much.
I see. In character or?
Yeah.
I'm happy. So
Both.
there would in universe be rumours, there'd be stories going round. So whether your character has or hasn't heard things, let that entirely be up to you.
Well, Amy doesn't know, so Amy would like an explanation.
Ed knows, and Wraal suspects, but probably from his more sort of frontier Klingon border upbringing, might have suspected that it's mainly tall stories and space as superstition.
Okay.
Yeah, Matt knows, but Bosh, I think, will have probably heard things, and like most Ferengi, is fairly understandable that humans might seem cuddly and dumb on the outside, but are ruthless, efficient bastards on the inside. So
Take away their comforts for a minute or two.
yeah.
Okay, so Julian goes on to explain then. He says, we operate separately from Starfleet. We are part of the original Federation Charter, where an organisation was needed. It was recognised to deal with unusual threats in unusual times. So we operate independently and separately. We are self-governing, and whilst the Federation quite rightly has its moral obligations, and it took me a while to come round to this way of thinking, but eventually I recognise the logic that there will always be things required that require extreme measures. That's where we come in. Essentially, we keep the Federation safe. We are its protectors from the shadows. Now, those of you who have heard rumours about us, that probably fits fairly well, I would have thought.
Yeah, that sounds like the sort of rumour that you'd hear. So,
And he'll nod and he'll say, when I first became aware of Section 31 and was attempted to be recruited, it was a very different organisation to the one it is today. The man who recruited me, well, he had a very different view of... He simply said that the ends justified the means at any cost. I tend to take a somewhat more restrained approach than he did. And I believe that our future is in working closely with Starfleet. Hence Liera, hence Commander Gomez, who you've been working with. These are people who are Starfleet, but are also Section 31. There are others as well who you have encountered, some very senior.
we have met Admiral Janeway.
That's what I was thinking.
Mm-hmm.
She's a bitch.
So, yeah, he says the Livingstone is a new breed of ship designed to operate as both a Starfleet and Section 31 vessel. It is equipped and designed to operate most Starfleet operations with some extra things and extra toys added. And he grins a little bit at this.
I think we might have found some of those, Director.
I think you might. Certainly I've been debriefing Sonia about things. I'm going to cut to the chase. I have an offer for you. You were all selected way back in the Academy days for the way you handled the Kobayashi Maru. See, the Kobayashi Maru test is not simply a test of metal in students. It is also a method that Section 31 uses to identify those who are willing to do things differently to the standard Starfleet method. Hence why our operative, Agent Stallman, was placed in your particular training scenario to see how you would react. And you were all identified back then, at least most of you. He'll look curiously at Grace Wilson at this point. But you were identified as people who are maybe willing to do things for the greater good. I want you all to consider this offer very, very carefully. We want you to work with Section 31. Now, this will mean having full access to the Livingstone's toys. It will mean specialist missions. However, on the surface and to the world at large, you will remain as Starfleet officers. There will be a promotion in it for you, Mr. Wraal, to full captain. I'm sure there will be plenty of profitable opportunities for you, Mr. Bosh. And if you decide to accept, I have a first officer for you, and he gestures towards Zankir.
I trust your ship has better thermal controls than this one, Captain.
Mr. Zankir, Mr.
Counselor will do.
Tellarites have beards, whether a male or female, I believe. The thermal controls on the Livingstone are entirely adjustable.
I'm sure it will do nicely.
So, Liara and Bashir sort of exchange a look and a bit of a smile at this exchange, and Bashir says, we understand fully that conducting covert operations under the guise of Starfleet will be exceptionally stressful. Mr. Zankir here is a therapist and counsellor, and also an excellent comms officer who is very skilled in the delicate art of covert signals, as is required with Section 31. Hence why he would be your first officer.
Very good. I take it, is this offer, generous as it is conditional on Mr. Zankir joining us as my first officer?
It's certainly conditional on Mr. Zankir joining you, yes. Why do you ask?
I currently have a first officer. I'm aware that I promoted Mr. Davok and assigned Mr. Davok to the position of first officer myself. That was, of course, an expedient necessity. However, I'm sure Mr. Davok will understand if Mr. Davok returns to his role as my senior science officer, but retains his rank as lieutenant commander.
Gladly.
That's minutiae that would be up to you. But Mr. Zankir being a part of your bridge crew would be a necessity in this matter. Listen, I've just told you an awful lot of information. Some of it quite shocking, no doubt. Why don't you retire to the Livingstone for now and discuss it amongst yourselves? But I would ask that you do not discuss it outside of the, well, now 5 of you. This needs to be privileged information that your crew at large are not aware of.
Very well. We should give you our response within 10 to 15 minutes, I should think.
Excellent. Just hail us when you are ready. It's been a pleasure meeting you.
It's been a pleasure meeting you, Director, and to reacquaint with you again, Sub-Director.
And as you say this, Bashir turns and walks over to a turbo lift as the same time as Sonia comes out. And he says, Commander Gomez, I need you to take command of a Federation ship, the Archimedes, as the transporter beam materializes around you all and beams you back, all 5 of you this time, to the bridge of the Livingstone.
Sonia.
Absolutely brilliant cannon there, Stu. Well done.
Yeah, thanks, Lower Decks.
Actually, no, Lower Decks, you're welcome.
Makes you
Given
wonder if
them
the
weeks of
Archimedes
back-
is
we
now
give
a
them-
Section 31 ship, though.
Yeah, exactly. We've just given them weeks of backstory for that character.
Well, I can tick off that we checked Sonia's shady shit. That is done. We did the thing.
We absolutely did. Now, if put my teeth back in. Lock the. First of all, well, if I think we're back on the bridge, aren't we? I was a bit distracted. We're back on our
on the
own.
bridge.
Right. We shall lock the door. First, still outside with a glass. What she's heard is beaming sounds in and out. I'm a bit confused.
It's very quiet over there. I don't know what's going on.
I just hear tinkling noises.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say that first, while this has happened, is aware that people have beamed away and beamed back.
Is stoically still standing there because that's what the last thing we told her to do. Yeah.
Yep.
That's first is as first does as first is. So to the crew, that's a hell of an offer. That is literally the offer of a lifetime.
It brings me to mind of two rules, number 62 and number 74.
Go ahead, Doctor, with your many, many wonderful rules.
Well, 62 is the riskier the road, the greater the profit. And number 74 is knowledge equals profit. We're about to be given quite a lot of extra knowledge, but it will be, yeah.
Well, at the same time, we are still, as my understanding of the offer is, we are still a Starfleet crew. We are still a Starfleet vessel.
Yes.
We just have a few more tasks that may be
Additional
required of us.
responsibilities.
Now, as captain acting, I'm more than happy that if anyone wishes to not take part in this, I'll take your advisement on that. If you wish to raise any objections, my suggestion is that we accept this role and task.
Oh, I'm fully on board.
Now, Mr. Davok, I realise that this is conditional on you stepping down from your recent role promotion to the role of EXO, but your rank of Lieutenant Commander will remain, and I will, of course, require you to be my most valuable science officer and chief of science division.
Yeah, I'm much better at the science things.
And also knowing that Vulcans have no ego, getting bounced back out of the EXO's job is not really going to bother you that much, is it?
No.
No, didn't think so. Good. That's why you promote Vulcans into the EXO, because when you need to bin them off, they don't complain.
No. Can you imagine if you were telling this to Bosh right now? He would not be very happy.
I wouldn't have a Ferengi as a first officer, not unless I was a Ferengi ship.
That's sensible.
Also, I wouldn't have a doctor as a first officer.
No, it doesn't make any sense.
No, imagine being ordered to bed by your own first officer. Oh.
Yes, you must go to bed rest. I am now captain. I mean,
Exactly. That's how quick my tenure as captain would have lasted. 5 seconds. Very good.
I mean,
So
can't the doctor actually order you off the bridge anyway? So
Yes.
that could just happen.
but I can't assume command. Whereas if I was first officer, I could order him off the bridge and assume command.
There you go.
Well, you just
Actually-
have to order everyone above you to bed. And you can do that.
and there's only you left on the ship. Everyone else is sick.
I like captain. The doctorate is earned. The rank is given.
Right. Okay. It's my intention to accept their offer then. No objections?
You have another
Answer.
crew member who hasn't
Yeah.
I was going to say I'm there as well.
asked.
Right?
Thank you.
I didn't think it. I thought, given that he's already Section 31, he probably agrees with the whole
Yeah,
situation.
he's deeply involved already.
I mean, is it worth it?
Zankia, are you okay wearing normal Starfleet uniform for a little while? I know black looks particularly good on you.
Well, I never really liked the black anyway. Makes me look fat.
And the new
I-
lower decks uniform is so slimming.
If I may offer some advice,
Of course.
Commander. Section 31 has a reputation. I was wary of the reputation at first, but when I started working with them, they have their hearts in the right places.
Rumors.
Federation is something to be protected.
Of course. Rumors were that they were essentially the rumors I'd heard out in the space lanes was that they were essentially, if you believed it, rogues. Some even said that there were individual cells who didn't even speak to each other, just used the rumor of Section 31 as a sort of letter of marque to do what they wanted.
Judge, Judy, and executioner.
He is not Judge Judy and executioner.
Would you say that? Would you say this reputation was an old reputation that's been changed, Mr. Zankier?
That has not been my experience with them.
Rumor could well be simply that. So, on behalf of the crew, we accept their offer.
Yep.
Yes.
Very good.
So,
Captain?
Mr.
Grace
Zankier.
Wilson chimes in.
Oh, yes. Oh, Grace.
Yes, Con, go ahead.
Captain, I would very much like to be part of a Section 31 crew. And I very much appreciate the trust and you've shown in me by bringing me along.
Well, Grace Wilson, everyone has to. Someone's got to fly the ship now. I'm permanently sat in the captain's chair, or will be, and you're going to be doing it. So don't bump the ship. Not you have so far.
Happy to sit in the captain's chair for you if you want to beam down to a planet, Captain.
Well, we do have an assistant science officer as well, who has a very similar name. But yes, yes, Con. I'm sure we can. I'm sure your path to the big chair yourself is already mapped out.
Yes, but I will say I do have one condition for Mr. Zankier here.
Very well.
Uniform. Back to a standard Starfleet uniform, because I think it's a very, very clear thing that, as Rule of Acquisition 47 says, never trust a man wearing a better suit than you own.
Yes, of course. Ferengis with your rules. Of course, I will dress the part.
Very good. We've got a whole suite of fantastic replicator options now. Some with daggers.
Yeah.
Can we have a fashion montage?
He's going to intentionally pick one of the original series uniforms.
Yeah. Excellent. Very well.
I would pick now. I would pick the Brave Strange New Worlds version of the original series ones, the ones that Pike was wearing in Discovery. They were really nice.
Yes.
But anyway,
Yeah.
sorry.
That's one of my favourites. Because obviously I got lots of tops. That is one of my favourites, that one. It is beautiful.
Yes.
Right. In that case, I will instruct... actually, I think Mr. Zankier is quite good with communications. Open hailing frequencies, please.
Aye,
And
sir.
the panels, when you got back to the ship, by the way, were working again. You didn't ask. And the view screen's up and you can see that station.
I was hoping the person who's already in Section 31 on our crew here had a key or a fob or just a pass.
Oh, so you need to try the password 1234. That's
okay.
It's an easy mistake to make.
I've said that before. The password to Livingstone is always 1, 2, 3, 4. Because
I thought it was 0000. Oh,
don't tell anyone the password is password.
there's a 1 in it somewhere.
Yeah, an exclamation mark.
1701. We all know that. Yeah, you open a hailing frequency to the other ship, which we haven't named. And yes, there is Liera on screen.
Director, sub-director, director. On behalf of the Livingstone, we accept your offer.
Excellent. We need to arrange a schedule over the next couple of weeks of getting you all familiarised. And I'm going to smash cut this now. The next 2 weeks, what happens? Feel free to chip in and stop me at any point. You are given basically a rundown of Section 31's history. There is an entire Section 31 database, Davok, almost as big as the existing Federation database. A lot of it ties in together. Obviously, you in 2 weeks you don't have anywhere near enough time to go through it all, but there's a lot of like historical events in the Federation database, and then Section 31 have their take on it, which actually they've been involved in the development of the Federation far more than anybody ever knew, and done far more things. You also wonder quite often if they're not telling you the whole story in that database, if there is more to it than that even.
It's within Weevils.
The Mirror Universe database is removed from the Livingstone, but kept on the station. The station itself is a millennia-old space station that Section 31 utilise and use. It's in a... Well, do you know what? I won't say what area of space it is just yet, because we'll keep that secret for now. But it's in a hidden part of space, let's put it that way. But yeah, this millennia-old, it was originally built by an alien race. Nobody knows who or where or why. But it has... You can tell from these fins, like just looking at it, it's got massive communications operations. And you discover it can, in fact, communicate interdimensionally when required.
Ooh.
Which leads us to Sonia. Sonia has obviously been reporting back. Her job was to keep an eye on you and to keep you away from some of the more sensitive parts of the Livingstone. We'll come to that in a second. That was her job, was just monitoring you and reporting back. And she has been doing all the way through, including whilst you were in the Mirror Universe, you discover. That's why they knew to expect you when you arrived back, and why they were there to greet you. Yes, it was... obviously, you were identified by the Kobayashi Maru, but it was actually you're dealing with the parasites and the way in which you dealt with it, which was an incredibly non-Starfleet way. That kind of tipped their hand, shall we say.
Puts it mildly, doesn't it?
They're definitely Section 3. Right, if they're willing to, like, just destroy a planet.
That was medically like required.
I had 3 directives from Janeway, and we followed them all in sequence.
Interestingly enough, Admiral Janeway's name is not mentioned again. There's now the aftermath of all that. You discover that thanks to Section 31 working kind of behind the scenes, peace, or at least something that looks very much like peace with the Romulans, has ensued again. It's all very tentative though, but yes, things are okay. They're not automatically enemies again. As it was like a year ago. Things, peace started to develop after the whole Shinzen thing, but it's back to where it was. You haven't completely destabilized the region. They've fixed.
We shall have to try
cleaned
harder.
up after you. They've cleaned up after you, basically. The ship itself. So there are 2 things. Which would you like to know about first?
Ooh. What's that What's that room in the front? Is it a battle bridge?
Oh, no. Better than that. Wraal's going to love this.
Oh.
It is a separate vessel.
Oh, yes. It's Wraal's yacht.
You can think of it as a source of separation. You can think of it as a captain's yacht. Either way, you're not far off. We're going to use the runabout specification and rules for that, but it does detach and can be used as a separate vessel. That vessel has yet to be named, and that will be captain's privilege.
Excellent. I'm going to have to figure that out, but I will think about that one.
That's one for you to have.
You got to call it Eelin Wraal's pleasure barge.
No.
If the shuttle is rocking, don't come a knocking. When it detaches, there is another deflector dish behind where it was. Basically, it detaches from another deflector dish, so the Livingstone can continue exactly as before. It basically comes away, and then nacelles flip out from the sides.
Oh, yes. Oh, modelling possibilities.
Very cool. It's very cool. I thought you'd like that. So that's that. The other thing is it doesn't have what the Livingstone does have, which is this thing in engineering. It's a cloaking device, yes. It is a cloaking device. You are advised to use it in front of the crew as little as possible, because you're still not supposed to have them as a Federation ship.
Oh, yes.
So try not to use it if possible, but it's there if you do need to. And of course, you are given full access to all these things and how they operate, and such like. Other things that are happening.
Have we fitted a big red sort of Batman style button to Wraal's console which says "Not cloaking device, don't touch"?
Well, would you know if you're in a ship that's cloaked that it can't be seen from outside?
No.
So if we cloak the ship but don't announce it, it's unlikely that people would know.
I mean,
mechanically in game, there's a way of doing it, a certain roll and test that you do, which I could perform. But yeah, in sort of in world, you use cloak.
Engineering crew might be aware that power is being done, because it does use a massive amount of power, and they might be aware that power is being diverted somewhere, possibly.
Yeah, I would suggest bringing whoever is in charge of engineering into the fold.
Well, that's the first of the personnel issues. You're going to need a new chief engineer.
You need a chief engineer.
Now, you can either bring in one of your existing engineering crew, or one of your other crew. I'm not looking at anybody in particular who happens to be stood in front of a warp core. Or Section 31 will happily... they can give you a Section 31 person who can then sort of hide the fact that the cloaking device is in use.
That would have to be a discussion. Does Mr. Zankier have any science as well? Not a scientific medical.
Well, he is science. Yes. Wait, where are my things? No, science and engineering are bad. He's medical.
Okay. Davok's good at engineering as well.
I am.
But
I don't have any focuses in engineering.
Yeah, that's the problem. I think I prefer Davok on the bridge, farming that momentum with many good sensor sweeps and getting that chief science officer's bonus momentum that you get just for cracking something. So yeah, I think maybe we could let's get a section 31. Let's get an assigned one who can assist in if we do need to cloak, can basically make it look like there's a bleed off of energy somewhere else, or
they can
a power
definitely
power
take care
spike.
of that.
Someone
And,
in
we'll do that kind of off air, that allocation and who that is.
Or build an NPC for it.
Basically,
Supporting character.
no problem. Now, the other thing that happens personnel-wise, you are, as bridge crew, you are all asked what you would like to do with First. If you wish First to stay aboard, they have no issues with that whatsoever. However, First will need to be instructed in, shall we say, the ways and means of how to behave on a Starfleet vessel.
First might be tricky to explain in this universe as the first Jem'Hadar in Starfleet.
And a female Jem'Hadar, which aren't a thing. And
At the same time, diverse crews and being the first is not a new thing in Starfleet, so it's probably more believable. You just say, she's the first.
They'd have no problem with people being aware that First has come from the Mirror Universe. In fact, Section 31 recommend that you don't try to hide that. People know about the Mirror Universe in this era. It's not.
Yeah, and there's no greater cover story than the truth.
what would First like to do?
Yeah, let's ask First. I say I'm more as acting captain. I'm more than happy to keep First on board. I like First. I don't know what it is. I like First.
I think you're an actual captain now.
I mean, I'm happy to keep her or leave her. I'm happy either way. I think she could have some interesting uses, especially with. Are you actually? Is Reggie going to become chief security officer?
Well, as we know, Reggie works for a living. He'll frequently tell you that. But actually, in sort of mechanically in game, I've not actually seen First's stats. What's First good at? What's the
security?
Security is good, yeah. But I think she's actually better than Reggie at security.
Control 10.
Yeah, that's good.
Fitness 12. Presence 7. Daring 10. Insight 8. And reason 7.
Okay, but yeah, that's security 5 is.
And command 4. Con 3. Engineering 2. And science and medicine are 1.
Okay, I think
her focuses are adaptation to unfamiliar technology, hand to hand, energy weapons, and a few other bits and pieces like that.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
I think First might do well as Reggie's assistant chief of security. I don't think Reggie would mind that. I think they'd probably have a lot to talk about energy weapons and knives. And
there is a recommendation that following, it's not conditioning. They're very clear, it's not conditioning. But following conditioning, it might not be a bad idea to make First your chief of security, given that First, and to bring First in on the whole Section 31 thing. Okay,
if Section 31 think that that's reasonable, then yeah, I think we could do that. I have no problem with First.
To be clear, they're not overruling you. It is entirely your decision, but that is just the advice.
No, we're a pragmatic bunch. We take advice, even if it's don't blow up a colony with quantum torpedoes from orbit. Whoops. My finger slipped, or was it Davok's?
I did not do such a thing.
The thinking behind the advice, just so that you're aware, is that given the type of missions that you're likely to go on as Section 31, having somebody who is more of a warrior is definitely going to be beneficial to you.
I think
You
so,
don't
yeah.
want someone limited by Starfleet protocol necessarily.
Yeah, I don't think, actually, as Reggie, I don't think, I mean, Reggie was under Mr. Varron for a while, not literally. And I don't think Reggie would have any objection to stepping back to being Deputy Chief of Security on board. Reggie? Stand down. You've got a new boss.
Okay. Now the, should we say condition? Yeah, I'm going to call it conditioning because why the hell not? Is going to be done by the resident councillor, of course. Let's see how well it's done. And we're just going to see how many successes you get. Your first ever roll. By the way, you still have 3 momentum.
Chris,
Just
on
saying.
behalf of the crew, welcome on board and please use a momentum.
Yeah.
Okay.
She will try not to kill you.
This is,
Yeah, this
I'm-
session is going to be very interesting.
I'm going to say this is going to be an insight and medicine roll.
All right.
Unless
so
you
that's
can
gonna be-
argue a different attribute. It's definitely going to be medicine, but
Would reason be a better suggestion? Trying to reason with the Cmdr.
reason
even
is not
possible?
about reasoning, it's about working things out.
Well,
I think maybe with a Tellarite, with the way Tellarites are, maybe presence might be. If that's any good.
no,
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 okay.
no, 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 no. No, I'm happy to go with insight. It's
Okay.
the difference between 10 or 11, so it's not really that big a deal.
Insight and medicine, and you're using 1 momentum, yes?
Yep. So that gives me 3 dice, correct?
So yeah, can anyone assist this?
Not in this instance, I'm afraid.
It's a one-on-one.
Can I make an opposed roll?
It's
Now, I have focuses in counseling, arbitration, and xenopsychology. Would either of those come into play here?
xenopsychology would.
Okay. So with that, it's if any roll is below my medicine score, I get an extra, right?
That's
Yeah.
absolutely
Or a 1.
correct.
Yes.
Got it.
Or equal meets beats.
Okay. Here we go. First roll. Oh, God, that's bad. One of those is a 20.
Oh,
Ooh.
One of them is a 19. The other one is a 9. So that's
Rolling in
success
strong.
and 2 very, very bad results.
Ooh.
what does first do about that?
The complication and it's
Punches him in the face.
Yes. Do you know what? I'm going to go with that. Your first session, in fact, with first, you provoke first, inadvertently, obviously, but Tellarites being the way they are, and you end up in sick
bit blunt.
bay. And this has put you back somewhat.
You want me there for a little nerve pinch?
But you do
worked
get
very
a
well there.
success. Now,
Get one.
whether this has made Zankir much more cautious around first, I'll leave that up to you.
Probably. Well, maybe not.
This is kind of a role play outcome, so it's your call. And with
We shall
only
see.
1 success, and of course the provocation. First, it is entirely up to you how effective all that was. We can wait and find out. Let's wait and see when we're in the real situation. Fantastic. And one last thing for everyone to do. So as we've been playing right from day one, you've each got a set of values. If anybody feels that their values have been particularly challenged, we can look at, if you want, either replacing or modifying that value.
Looking at my 4 values, I don't think any of them have been particularly challenged enough that they would change so far.
Okay.
Really interestingly, I think my values, well, one not so much at the moment, we just haven't. The other 3 I think have been cemented more.
Okay.
Bosh
So that
is-
could mean enhancement.
His confidence, indefatigable confidence, suspicious of female leaders, and renewed belief in the Federation.
Oh.
Interesting.
Okay. I'm going to say the confidence one. Bosh had his fair share of failures, particularly when it came to tricorders.
Yeah. Skeptical of technology.
Fearful of tricorders.
No, but he did have his fair share of successes as well. So no, I think the confidence one, that stands. The distrust of female leaders. Yeah, if you wanted to, it's entirely your option. But if you wanted to enhance that somehow, or kind of take it to another level, as it were, that's something to think about for next game. And what was the other one?
Renewed belief in the Federation.
I would say that one's been challenged by the whole finding out about Section 31.
Yeah, but I think as a Ferengi, I think it makes sense. It's the most profitable way of not letting idiots control everything.
Okay. That sounds like a balance to me. Okay, but that one, the female leaders one, I'll leave that in your capable hands. Zankir, obviously, nothing yet.
No.
Davok.
Oh no, I do have a value that Cmdr are impossible to work with, so I think that one's been joking.
Solidly in there.
Yeah.
Davok.
Yeah, I've got one I think I could change, because one of my values is that I know a lot about space, but not much else. And I think I learned some other things, but probably mainly about parasites. So I don't know how useful that is.
I think Davok's kind of like a always learning.
I'm a sponge.
In Davok's sphere of knowledge, it's still going to be mostly space and just still a little bit of other stuff.
And not much else.
Yeah.
Space, empty space.
Love a bit of well, actually, there's anomalies. There's crazy anomalies that keep changing things.
And they're called brain
Space.
cells.
Yeah. Space is big, really big. I mean, you might think it's a long way down the road to the shops. That's just peanuts compared to space. Okay, anything else?
Nah.
Okay. And Wraal, I know we said about challenging, nothing's challenged. Anything been firmed up? Anything affirmed, should I say?
Yeah, well, the 4 values that Wraal has is this is my ship, this is my crew, things change. That was things do change.
That
That's probably
has been that could have summarised the whole thing, really. Yeah.
The other one is experience is to be shared, not hoarded. We always willing to help. It says boldness in yourself, cautious with the safety of others. Depends whether they're on a space station or on a planet a long way away, and all me and my crew are all safely on a ship armed with quantum torpedoes or not.
I'm going to say that value has been challenged because, as captain, you've sat safely on the bridge and sent other people to their doom. I mean, into danger.
Into danger. Yes. That one I will look at because, that may have to change into something slightly. As your career changes, you may have to change that particular value.
I think that one has been challenged by a few away teams.
I will. The other one, is I'm more at home with humans and Klingons than Trill. And the only other Trill we met, we scared the living daylights out of.
Yes, I haven't really spent that much time with Klingons. Oh, you've had some negative experiences with Klingons, so could be challenged from that point of view. So it might be that the affirmation of Trill and the challenge from Klingons maybe balances it out anyway.
Yeah, but I think value number 2 though will need adjusting with a bit of consideration. Yeah, definitely.
That's one for you to look at for next time. Now, is there anything you want to do in that fortnight that we've not discussed?
Has Wraal got any decorating ideas for his new shuttle?
Yeah, he needs to come up with a name for it and a cool paint scheme.
I have a thought of a name, but I don't think it's the one that you should go with. But I think it would be quite fun.
What, Raal's Whip?
No, the well, does it have a USS prefix?
No, Captain's usually just has a name. It's not like a commissioned ship. It's a part of a ship.
In that case, the Henry Stanley.
Okay. Or maybe, or Henrietta.
Because Henry Stanley obviously uttered the Dr. Livingstone, I presume.
Yes, and as a result, because ships are always girls, it's Henrietta is the ship's yacht. That's now canon.
Nice. Right. There we go. You heard it here first, folks. Fantastic. So at the end of your 2 weeks, it's quite an intense 2 weeks. You're feeling pumped. You're feeling ready for your first assignment, and indeed, you are called into Director Bashir's office. And he sits you down as a bridge crew and tells you they need you to go look into the primary star of the Sigma Librae system, which is inside the Romulan neutral zone. Now, things are okay with the Romulans, but it's a tentative okay. Don't want to piss them off, don't want to antagonize them, so go stealthy, go cautious, go careful. The reason why they want you to look at this particular star, the deep space telescopes on board this station have recorded unexpected fluctuations in both energy outputs from the star and its brightness as well. It's been understood that this star was actually dead, but it appears to have reignited. Now, it could be that we're about to witness the beginnings of some spectacular, miraculous astronomical event. Astrophysics there.
Yay! Space!
Space
Astrophysics.
things.
Or there could be something more nefarious going on, quite probably with the Romulans. You need to find out. Be very, very aware, because with this being in the Romulan neutral zone, if we can see it, they can as well.
Right.
And that's it for this week.
Excellent.
Yay!
Yeah.
first Section 31 mission.
Yeah.
Well, how are we
Fantastic.
feeling about that?
Oh, that was very
Awesome.
cool.
Did it go where you thought it was going to go?
Nope.
Nope.
Nope, never does.
I mean, it went where I thought it was going to, but that's because Stu told me.
That's because I told you.
Yeah.
That's a
It
brief
does
you.
mean I'm going to have to print some more dice now.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to paint. I'm going to paint another Livingstone. Actually, I need a large-scale normal Livingstone, and of course, as a member of the crew, Chris will need a Livingstone as well.
Gotcha.
You'll need a little detachable bit.
Yeah, and a specific thing underneath as well. That then I'll come
Yeah.
up with other things. Everyone has
Well, I was wondering, given it, and if we're using the shuttlecraft, does it have to be a shuttlecraft, or given the timescale it is, would it be a Delta Flyer that would be kind of plugged underneath?
something. Yeah, well, if you think the captain's yacht, if you see the one on on the Sovereign class, it's quite a snazzy thing. It just sort of literally plugs in flush. I'll have a look
There's
around.
one on the D as well. It's called the Calypso. There's one on Voyager, in fact.
Yeah, the Aero Shuttle.
Yes.
Henrietta sounds nice. I like
Good name.
that. Thanks, Matt.
Do you know what? I'll look into stats for the Delta Fly. I'll try and get them. It's not going to be entirely like the Delta Fly because it is going to be a larger. It's going to be more runabout sized, basically. That's.
But the Delta Flyer was runabout sized, wasn't it? Because it was made from carcass bits of the 200 runabouts that Voyager had stored in its shuttle bay, so they could destroy one every episode.
No, it was rather smaller than a runabout. Delta Flyer was the size of like a
sort
big
of type-
transit van.
Yeah, like a Type 6 shuttle, but with like just souped up.
Yeah, whereas a runabout is more like the size of a Winnebago. Or a double-decker bus. You can write 350 Latinum bars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the side. There we go. Get all political. Wow, this is brilliant. Thank you. Thank you all, and thank you everyone for watching
Thank you, everybody.
as well.
you.
Yay! And I got to create a new title sequence now as well. Yay!
Yay.
I do enjoy doing those.
Yeah,
We've got our recording done, have we not, Chris?
We have, yes.
Excellent.
Oh, can't wait to see that.
Oh,
Yes, indeed. Very, very exciting. Of course, welcome on board, Chris.
Thank you for having me. I am
Yay.
very excited about this.
As are we. Absolutely brilliant. Brilliant to have you. So that's it for this week. Join us again in a fortnight when we will be back.
Messing with the Romulans.
Hopefully.
Yeah, like we haven't annoyed enough of them already.
Yeah.
being all neutral.
Let's try to avoid them first, and then
Yeah, I mean, hopefully there won't be souped up, parasitically infected superhumans like the last lot we found.
Yeah.
Oh no, they're mega Romulans.
5 combined into 1.
That's a Rom Voltron. I think.
A Voltron.
A Voltron. Damn, that was better. Damn.
On that bombshell, we will see you all in a fortnight's time. Live long and prosper.
Bye.
Bye bye.